Hi, this is Living God's Way LGW, your channel of inspiration and faith for 2026. My name is Mpo. The last time we spoke about the power and the necessity of us standing on God's word as Christians. Now, when this decade began, it's interesting how this decade began. We began this decade with the advent, with COVID being the most challenging thing that the nations of the world have ever faced. Now, what was interesting with COVID is that because we were under lockdown, we found ourselves using our phones a lot more so than we had ever used them before. Now, with that, there was a lot of information that came through, some true, some not so true. And the information that was not so true brought about a lot of conspiracy theories. Now, conspiracy theory as a phenomenon is not something new. But as something that is mainstream, it began in particular where where a lot of people, the large populations of the world, were exposed to it was when Dan Brown's book was released, The Da Vinci Code. Why? Why did that bring about this phenomenon to the mainstream of conspiracy theory? It's because of what Dan Brown said. He said a lot of things that sounded like the truth, but which were not. Among others, he pointed out two gospels that were not included, that were excluded at the Council of Nicaea. Now, a lot of people, particularly Christians, did not know of that council that was called the Council of Nicaea. He said, Dan Brown, at that council, it is where the Bible, as a book, the canon of the Bible, was decided upon by the church fathers. That's what he had said. But if you look down at history, you study church history, you find out that the church fathers had already gave authority prior to that to the Bible as we know it. He also said, among other things, Jesus had a wife, right? Which was Mary Magdalene. We know that to be false. Now, how do I connect what I said about the coronavirus and Dan Brown, and what he said is that people did not know about, or people were not as fascinated about conspiracy theories, right? Prior to that, not to say it began at that time, but people did not know about that. But when that happened, leading up to COVID-19, conspiracy theories is what has informed people, the large populations of the earth, Christians as well. Now, the enemy has been using that to attack God's word. But what I find interesting is that people claim that Christians are the only group of people who or a set of believers who make truth statements about what they make. Everybody makes truth statements. When a Muslim says they believe that Muhammad was given the word by Allah, and that the word confirms and speaks about Muhammad in it, and that Muhammad also said, if you have doubts about what Allah gave him, go to the people and the scriptures that came before Islam, which is the Torah and the Bible. This is what Muslims believe. That's a truth statement by Muslims. When a Buddhist believe that you learn a lot from suffering, they're giving us a truth statement that they found, or they believe comes from their founder, who was Buddha. Here's another example, which is something that is emerged lately. People talk about African spirituality. Now, in African spirituality as well, people are making truth statements, and the truth statements are these: we believe in our ancestors, and we believe that when those who live before us pass, they are closer to God. When we make sacrifices, we open a door to talk to them, and they talk to God on our behalf. That there is a truth statement. Now, Christianity is the same. God makes bold claims about himself, which are truth statements about the faith. Now, today I'm going to give you just one truth statement that God makes. It's in Psalm 119, verse 105, where God says his word is a lamp unto our feet. Now, as believers, we need to hold on to that truth. God's word, regardless of what information comes our way, God's word is a lamp and nothing else. So, thank you for tuning in today to LGW, Living God's Way. May you be blessed. May God give you proper rest so that He's able to talk to you, because that's what we need. If there's anything that this information has done for us as believers, is to rattle us, to keep us depressed and whatnot. Hence, I'm saying, may God give you rest. It may sound simple, but it's something that's very, very critical. Thanks and bye.